And here it is, and it's copy 384 of 1500. I'm about to open it up. The Battle of Five Armies, The Hobbit, Collector's Edition. Oh, and look at that. It's beautiful. Let's get it out of the box, shall we? Well, here it is, The Battle of Five Armies, The Hobbit, Collector's Edition. And what a beautiful big box it is. Look at the size of that. Now, the proportions are exactly the same as the last Collector's Edition, which was Warriors of Middle-earth, which is great because they sit together beautifully on the shelf. Let's open it up and have a look at this stunning game. Look at this beautiful fabric box, and this opens like this. It unfolds. Oh. And if I lift the camera, you can see that lid goes all the way back. So no problem sort of opening it halfway or having to keep it up at an angle or anything like that. It actually unfolds right from the back of the box and down flat. And then we have a series of these lovely trays with everything in it. So let me just move it around so you can see. Okay, I've shifted things around a bit. So this is our first tray. We take off this lid. First we have a beautiful hardcover rulebook, which is just a gorgeous thing, and of course beautifully in keeping with the earlier collector edition books. Great artwork. Beautiful layout. I don't know if there are any changes from the normal edition. I assume not. I don't know if there are any errata added or anything like that, but I'll have to compare the two and see. Something new here which I was curious about because I saw these overlays here. The Fate of Erebor, which is a sort of what-if kind of battle. What if the Battle of Five Armies was lost by the Free Peoples and Dane never became king under the mountain? What if the Dwarves of the Iron Hills were just the scattered survivors of their kin, etc.? So when playing War of the Ring, we assume the historical outcome for the Battle of Five Armies. In this one, it's a variant of War of the Ring, which you can play when the Shadow player wins the Battle of Five Armies. So you can have an entire campaign game, the Battle of Five Armies first, and then change War of the Ring if the Shadow player wins, which is a fantastic idea. You'd have to set aside a whole weekend for that, but wouldn't that be amazing? So, beautiful book, little bookmark ribbon in there. Then we've got some reference sheets, which are absolutely lovely, but of course you've got the Esoteric Order of Gamers reference sheets as well, if you want to use those. Here we've got a certificate, which is my certificate of authenticity, and this tells me that my copy is number 384 of 1500. Then we've got some counter sheets, nice large counters, collector's edition size counters, nice and thick. There we go. Recruitment counters, of course. And here are these different board sections for use with that War of the Ring variant. Then we've got our cards. Let's open this up. They're all in shrink wrap packs. There's only one thing here that's slightly disappointing, and it's happened with all the collector's editions. These wells to hold the cards are very snug, and if you sleeve your cards, as I do, you won't fit them back in the wells. Now, they made some nice tin containers for the War of the Ring cards, which I use to hold my sleeve cards. I don't know if they'll do the same for Battle of the Five Armies, but unfortunately, once they're sleeved, they won't fit in there, which is just a little bit frustrating. Anyway, beautiful large tarot-sized cards. Let's have a look at these. Now, of course, we've got our nice large character cards, which are two-sided, with all the main protagonists of the Battle of Five Armies. And the bad guys, of course, Bolg and the Great Bats. There are 30 event cards. These are shared by both players. You draw from the same deck. And of course they have combat effects on them as well, so you can use them for the event or the combat effect. There are 9 fate cards. These can enter the game as the marker moves along the fate track. We've got 13 unit and maneuver cards for the different types of units. Shadow and Fellowship, of course. And then 2 decks of story cards, and each player of course has their own deck of story cards to draw from during the game, which add a lot of flavour to the game. And illustrated down the bottom too, which is nice. And these are the ones for the Fellowship. There's a little pack of cards here for that War of the Ring option. I won't open those, but they're variant cards for that. Now between each tray is a lovely thick card divider with some artwork on it. You could hang these on your wall if you like. And on the other side it actually shows you what miniatures are in each tray, so putting them back quite easy. And here's our first tray of pre-painted miniatures. As you can see, there are wells here for the counters. There's even a special individual well just for the range ruler that goes in there. We've got our Fellowship dice and our miniatures. I'll show these to you more closely in a moment. Here's another divider with Bolg on it and the layout of the Shadow Army pieces. And here's that big beautiful tray. Shadow Army dice and all the units of the Shadow Army. And then a last divider, this great big picture of Beorn, of course, or Beorn, and a picture of the map on the back, just if you find that handy, because the next tray is the map itself. Same artwork as the original map, but lovely and large, and it also has little spot gloss varnishing on some of these spots. Just trying to catch the light there. There you go, you can see they've been varnished. There's other spots on the board, all of these spots are varnished as well. I'll lay this out in a moment and show you when I set up the game, because we're playing tonight for the first time with this collector's edition, so I'll show you when it's all set up. There's also some very nice bags down the bottom, 3 little bags like that, very nice, and a larger black one for the shadow. It's a nice touch. And here's our board all set up. This is a 6x4 table, so it gives you an idea of how big the board is. But as you can see, absolutely gorgeous, nice and big, and that beautiful artwork on it as well. Here's your little miniature. So it's going to certainly give me a lot more space to play Battle of the 5 Armies. No spaces on the board to actually put the cards, but of course that would have necessitated a complete redesign of the board, so not a big problem at all. Here are all our beautiful pre-painted miniatures ready to join in battle on the table. So starting with the Shadow Army, we have the Goblins, the Orcs of course, and these are the same miniatures that come in War of the Ring. We've got some Wargs, Giant Bats, the Great Orcs. You can see, great colour scheme, well painted. They don't have shadow detail, they're just sort of flat colours, but it's a really nice tabletop job, and as you can see everything's painted within the shapes. It's not rough at all. If you wanted to, you could probably give this a bit of an ink wash or something if you wanted to bring out the detail a bit more, but it's not necessary. Then finally we have Bolg himself, the leader of the Shadow Army. For the Fellowship we have the, well, I say the Fellowship, but of course it's not the Fellowship side, is it? We call it the Free Peoples in Battle of the Five Armies because the Fellowship hasn't been formed yet. I'm just saying that out of habit. We've got Dwarf Veterans and Dwarf Regulars. They're War of the Ring sculpts. The Lake Men. The Eagles, of course. Elf Archers. And Elf Spearmen, which is a new sculpt for Battle of the Five Armies. And then, of course, all the characters. The Lord of the Eagles. Thranduil. Gandalf, of course. Thorin Oakenshield. Dane Ironfoot. Bard. Bilbo, of course. And Beorn. And that, my friends, is what you get in the Battle of Five Armies Collector's Edition. And I'm very happy to finally be able to add this to my beautiful collection of War of the Ring games. Ares really do some gorgeous stuff with these collector's editions, and they're pride of place on my shelf. Of course, I've had Battle of Five Armies for quite some time, and I've already painted all the hero figures, so I may be using my own paint jobs for the heroes, but it's always fantastic to have all of the armies pre-painted because, you know, painting armies is not a huge amount of fun, so it's really good to have those done for me. And also, you just get all these beautiful components and presentation, and I love playing these games on a really big map because they're such epic games, and I think that sense of scale just is perfect for these games. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, there's always more to watch and to download on the Esoteric Order of Gamers website, orderofgamers.com. Please do go check it out. You'll find lots of stuff there, especially more than 370 rule summaries that you can download and use yourself to make learning and playing games a lot easier. I'll see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.